I don't remember the first people to stay with us, but some of the first people that come to mind were, family. Like we had Aaron stay with us for a while. We had, I believe, Dale McCrae stayed with us for a little bit. Can you guys think of anybody else?
We had Aunt Tina stay with us.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Brad.
Yeah, Brad did.
He ate all of our bananas. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 So, you remember them staying there?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, were they part of dinner? Were they part of your family life? What went on there?
Depends on the person. A lot of them were.
Instead of answering my question, say, like, we did have a lot of them stayed for dinner with dinner with us.
We did have a lot of the people that stayed with us. They would come up and eat dinner with us, eat breakfast whenever they were there. Some of the people that stayed with us, kind of stayed downstairs a little bit more. Didn't hang out as much, but the majority of people, I feel like, spent a lot of time hanging out with the family. And
Maddie, what families do you remember living with you guys?
I remember a little bit of the Catrons staying with us.
Why did they stay with you?
I think there was that their house got on fire.
Yeah, their house burned down.
Yeah.
So the Catrons stayed with us for a couple months, actually.
So how many of them, Christopher? How many of the Catrons?
Oh boy, there's Corey, Emily, Alexis. That was 6 of them?
Yeah, Gabby, Corey, Emily, Alexis, Brian, Diane.
Yeah. There was a lot of them. It was pretty. It was crowded some days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of them took over my room. A couple of them took over. Did they stay in your room at all?
Yeah. Yeah, I think some of them stayed downstairs too.
Yeah.
But
Why do you think your parents had the Catrons move in with them?
I think that the Catrons moved in because we have a really close connection to them as families. I think I just remember growing up in church, we were always really close with the Catrons, and my parents and their parents seemed really close. So I think just as friends, they just thought that was the least that they could do for them. That and, them showing up at our front door. I mean, obviously you can't say no, so, but yeah.
Mr. Catron coming in saying, "My house burned down." I'm pretty sure my dad almost started laughing, thinking it was a joke.
Yeah.
And then he saw the rest of them behind him and started to realize this is not a joke.
How long did they stay there with you guys?
A couple months.
Yeah, it was a long. It felt like a lot longer than it was, but yeah, they were there for a few months.
Now, can you think of other families that stayed with you?
Oh boy.
Tyler stayed with us.
Yeah. Can't think of really any other families that stayed with us. I think the
So the
majority.
family members, list the family members again. Tyler?
Did Tyler stay there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler did.
Tyler stayed there. Did Aaron stay there for a little bit?
I know Brad did. I believe
Brad.
Aaron did, and yeah.
Aunt Tina stayed there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And how many college students? Talk about through when they had college students there.
We've had a lot of college students stay. I remember. Let's see here. When there's a lot of basketball guys from Grace that have stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
That was always kind of fun, seeing them around throughout high school.
Yeah.
Adrian, when he was in college, he still stayed there. That was always interesting.
Describe Adrian a little bit.
Oh boy, Adrian.
7 foot tall German. Can't miss him.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people feel like family when they stayed with us, but Adrian's more like that brother that kind of stuck around. He was very funny, very sarcastic, but it was really easy to get along with him, even though we didn't grow up together at all. I feel like we all kind of got along with him.
Yeah.
Maddie, why do you think your mom and dad had college students stay in your house?
Well, I don't really.
They didn't talk to you about why they did it.
Not really, actually.
Why do you think they did it, Christopher?
I feel like I don't know, maybe to well, obviously they took in people that needed help and like just needed a place to stay, especially like a lot of sports college players from Grace would stay there just over breaks so they wouldn't have to make the long trip home. But I think a reason why they probably did it is because they're just very giving, and sometimes I feel like they can't really say no, which is fine with us, but yeah.
Would you guys, do you think you'll be more generous in your later years because you've lived with them?
I would say definitely yes. Just because.
Yeah, so start at the beginning. And
Okay.
Say, I really believe I'll be.
I believe we will definitely be more generous, just because that is what we grew up with. That's what we grew up seeing. So it's kind of like that's all we know. Yeah.
And I think it was like through the example that they showed. Like they never really said, obviously they told us, to be kind to other people and be generous. But I think it spoke much more loudly through like how they treated other people. And I think even now that's helped me a lot of understanding how I need to be giving to other people and being very hospitable to other people, even if I don't really want to exactly. But like it's really important.
Anybody remember a time when something really unusual happened because you had people living in your house? Go Matt, tell about that.
Something really unusual. I just remember whenever like college students or just anyone that was like a bunch of people staying with us, there was just one point where they just took out, there was a queen mattress in there. They just took that out and put some bunk beds in there.
Your mom and dad did that? Or
Well,
the students did that?
they let them put that in there for more beds.
You guys remember anything funny that happened?
I remember when Brad stayed with us, he'd always eat all of our fruit and like our bananas. And who else has stayed there and did that? That was Sam Harris, one of our classmates, actually stayed at our
He
place
stayed a
too.
couple different times, I feel like.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd just be really random stuff like that. We wouldn't really see him much sometimes, but you'd always know when Brad came through the house because he'd always take something like that.
The fruit would be missing.
Yeah.
You would know exactly when Brad had been there.
Oh boy. Max
always had ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd always take all of our ketchup, and it was always missing. That was always pretty fun.
It was in his little mini fridge in the guest room.
What would you say, if you were going to describe your mom, thinking about what your mom did, what did your mom do that was extra because there were people living there?
I think the first thing I'd think of is she was
Say
always...
this. The first thing I'd think of about mom and what she did.
Yeah. The first thing that I would think of about what my mom did, for anyone that stayed at our place and just for our family in general, was that she was always willing to make food for anyone that came in. I feel like that's always the first thing that comes to mind because, no matter who it was, if it was just friends staying there, if it was, someone staying in the guest room for a while, she never said no. She always helped us with our laundry, and she was always really supportive of my dad too. I feel like we all felt that way.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think when you think about your mom doing extra stuff?
Well, there would always be food running out because there's so many people. She would have to be making like weekly trips to the grocery store, and she just made time for that.
Anything, Josh, you want to add to that?
I guess just kind of adding on to that is I feel like we had a lot of people that would come and would almost say, no, you don't have to do that. Stop making me food. Like it was an inconvenience for her, but like she just enjoyed doing that.
Wow. Think about their relationship with the Lord and what you've observed in them related to their relationship with Him and how that would motivate them to be generous to people. So anything that you can think of that they'd say, we really want to honor God here, or we learned this, we want to be more generous, or does anything come to your mind about the spiritual dimension of why they did what they did?
I specifically remember a moment when my dad, I don't know why we were sitting at the table, but we just sat down and he started talking about how we're to give. And he was talking specifically about money, but then he was also talking about our time. And he just talked about how that God has given us a lot, and he thinks that the reason why he did that is so that we could give it away.
Wow.
And so I specifically remember that. I think it was in church service earlier that day. That was a big topic. And so he was talking a lot about how we're to be selfless and to give. And that's what's most fulfilling.
Tell about how your mom and dad have agreed to do that stuff together. Why do you think they are in agreement when it comes to that stuff?
Oh boy.
I think it's just kind of both of their personalities. Like they both enjoy doing those things. So there's never really been a point where, you know, my dad has said, no, I don't want to do this, or mom has said, no, I don't want to do this. They both enjoy doing it, so they're both gonna, you know, say, hey, let's bring these people in.
Yeah. You know it's not normal, don't you?
Yeah.
You guys realize you haven't lived a normal life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of it's been hard. I don't think it's time to talk about that now, but I'm sure some of it's been hard. You have had to give up some stuff to allow, but it's worth it to see.
Yeah.
How about your dad specifically? We talked about your mom and the food and those kind of things. What do you see in your dad? How has he invested in other people that have lived with you?
You can go
All
ahead.
right, I'll get it. He's always really just going over and above. Like, not only is he, you know, willing to house these people, but I mean, for example, with Adrian, there was a point where he was having to drive him around to a lot of different places, and it was almost like, you know, he never complained. He just went and did it, and it was always just kind of really interesting to see that play out.
Yeah. Maddie, describe how much your dad liked playing games with everybody.
Every time someone would probably come over, he would just ask if they've played like whatever game, and he would like teach them, and he would include them in all of our family games that we have. He would just try to make them feel welcome. And
Have you guys always played family games together?
Yeah.
Even from the time you were little, you guys can remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
So describe that a little bit. Just tell about it.
We've always had like board game nights and stuff like that, and my dad loves playing games, creating new rules for games, coming up with new ways to play games, all the above.
I think he just likes to entertain too.
Yeah.
Like, he likes being involved with other people and doing group activities together, and just I think ever since I can remember, we've just always had. It's been really important for him to have like family time and to be together, just in a fun setting, and that's just kind of how we did it, I think.
Tell a little bit about video, movies.
oh,
You
he
want to
would
start?
just, I don't know, he would, with all of our movies that we had ideas for, I just remember whenever I had an idea for something, he'd get the green screen out to make a background for it. And he would just, my friend and I would just make our own movie, and he would be telling us some ideas to do.
I think that was the best investment we ever had, was that green screen.
Yeah.
Tell about how you used it.
We did a couple different things. We did, there was the basketball videos where a couple of our friends came over, and
We all pretended to like interview as like professional basketball players, so that was pretty fun. Maddie, you made like a
few movies.
you were like flying in one video or something. You used the green screen.
On the stool.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think at first he loved to just videotape everything because he wanted to get everything on camera so he could remember it all, and then it started turning into we all wanted to start making our own like clips and movies and stuff, and he was always, jumping right on that to help us. So
Yeah.
He'd
Yeah.
come up with great, really creative ideas.
Yeah.
For me flying, he would get the green screen, fold it over a stool, and I would lay on the stool.
yeah.
If your mom and dad were sitting on that couch right now, and I asked them this question, if I asked, why have you done all of this generous giving? What do you think they'd say?
I think going back to kind of that conversation I had with my dad, it's because they were given a lot, and he thinks that it was specifically that God's provided for us in very specific ways. So why shouldn't we give to other people? And so I think that's probably the reason what he would say.
Yeah, I think so too. Do we have enough, Mason?
Yeah, so that was getting good.
You got any questions for us, Mason?
I wouldn't mind digging in a little bit into kind of what some of the struggles were growing up with, because that is
Yeah.
Like bathroom issues or
Yeah,
bedroom
I know.
issues?
it wasn't
I could think of some
super
bad.
stable.
Oh, I can think of some bad things. Don't worry.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest kind of negative at some points came down to transportation issues.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of times, if someone needed a ride somewhere to go somewhere, I had my license, so sometimes I would get tagged in to go drive people places or something like that. But
I think another thing is it's kind of like sharing your parents, which was kind of hard sometimes because sometimes we just wanted to be together just as a family, and we joke about that a lot because that never really happens, and there's always someone extra or someone's there, and so I think just learning to share our parents in a way has been it was kind of hard sometimes. But I think in the long run, it was definitely worth it. But just for example, with Adrian, oh boy, we had to he was a lot of work sometimes, and it was my mom, driving him around somewhere, so she was gone sometimes, and they put a lot of focus onto Adrian, which took away from us sometimes, and so that was kind of hard.
Yeah. And how did you handle that?
I think we were all in agreement. Right before, they'd always take someone in. They'd always ask us, as a family, do we want to do this? And, we'd all agree to that. And I think we all knew why we were doing this. So I think it was a little easier to get past those moments together.
and it wasn't even them saying is this okay with you? But we're going to go ahead and do it. It was, if you guys say no and you don't want this person here, we won't do it.
Yeah.
And so we kind of knew ahead of time that, there were going to be kind of some difficult times, but
When you think about all of it, would you wish they hadn't, or are you glad they did?
I think what I'll say that we're glad that they did, just because there was always someone new, kind of we invested into, my parents invested into their lives, but I think they also invested into our lives too, through those experiences. Just living with different people kind of gave us perspectives on life. I don't know, what do you guys think?
yeah, I would agree. And just getting to know a lot more people, we have a lot of relationships now that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, with David, he's this guy that stayed with us throughout high school, and David Maethia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I recently saw him a little bit ago, and it was just really interesting because it's it was really easy to catch up with him, and it just kind of felt like he was another one of my brothers, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that you've been thinking about that I haven't asked?
Oh boy.
Anything, Maddie?
I think I'm good.
Go ahead.
I think not only like did they host certain people in our house, but they also would always like host groups from church. Like the youth group would always come over sometimes. We had a lot of missionaries stay at our house.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd always even give up the lake house too to people that needed to stay there. They were always really giving.
They've been really good examples for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the most interesting parts of kind of the whole thing was getting used to coming home, seeing people in our living room, and it just being normal. Like, I would literally walk through the door, see a whole bunch of people, sometimes people I didn't even know, and would walk right past, go to my room, because it was just normal. Like, that's just what we did.
Yeah.
I remember seeing just a whole bunch of cars parked out in the driveway just all the time when I would come home.
Yeah.
Alright, so you guys just moved, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
recently. Can you talk a little bit about what that experience was like? Like, I mean, growing up in this house your whole lives and going through the moving, and then maybe kind of segue into what you guys think the future like holds. Like, it's not really about the house, but it's it's the hearts of your parents and stuff.
Yeah.
And if that's gonna carry on or.
Good.
So yeah, with them moving into a new house, I feel like nothing's really gonna change. Like, they're still who they are, and they're still gonna end up housing people. I mean, they were just talking the other day about how they're wanting to build an extra room, top level, to be able to house people, and there's not gonna be much of a difference, I feel like.
How about maybe what was it like? Because I'll segue into like the clips because I walk around the house and stuff. So just kind of what was that like? Kind of doing the walkthrough of the house.
Saying goodbye to the house.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting. Walking through the house was really fun. Yeah, it was also really sad, I think, too, because just there's a lot of memories in that house, and not necessarily with just us as a family, but most of the memories were with other people, which was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a lot of time in the guest room talking about all the people that had stayed with us, and
That was a guinea pig.
yeah, talking about your guinea pig that died. That was really sad. But yeah, I think it was really interesting going through all the rooms, just how we've all stayed in different rooms throughout our time in the house, and different people have been there, and that's just kind of how it affected us living throughout the years. Yeah, there's a lot of memories.
Was it sad?
Yeah, walking through the house was really sad. Just because there was a lot of memories of other people. We always had our friends over, making a lot of memories, and just knowing that we're not going to be there anymore it's pretty sad.
What are you guys looking forward to, like, in the future? Through all this experience.
I think looking forward, it'll be really interesting to see how our parents keep investing into other people, because I think eventually I don't know if they'll get tired of doing it, but they'll have to figure out other ways of being hospitable to people. But just I think it'll be really fun. Just coming home every now and again and just seeing who else they're helping. Whether it's keeping someone in the house, or just investing in other people. They don't really stop.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they enjoyed it?
Yeah, I think they enjoyed loving other people. I think that's why they did it, probably. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think 100% they enjoyed it. I mean, I feel like if they didn't enjoy it after that first or second person, living in our house for however long, I think they would have ended up stopping, but they never did. Every person that came, there always was somebody to follow right after.
I think it's interesting for Maddie because Josh and I had like a few years at the beginning there where no one really stayed with us, but I think Maddie's whole life has been someone's always been there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you guys know how many people total have stayed?
Oh gosh.
No.
Okay. David, Adrian, Brad, Tyler, Max, David, Skylar, Tina,
The Catrins.
the Cajuns.
Oh, yeah, I missed that.
Didn't Misty at one point?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Misty.
Boy, there was a lot of missionary families too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think
And
I
that's
could
not even
count.
counting the people that
Yeah.
stayed for like a day. You know, we had tons of people who would just literally just stay the night or crash there.
Like I think.
I think this guy crashed there once or twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy.
Did either one of them learn that from their parents?
I don't know where they got
Yeah.
the whole idea from to take people in, and
Yeah.
I think it just might be in their nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a passage of scripture that your dad knows. Your mom knows it too. It says in 1 Timothy 6, it says, command those who are rich in this present world. Once they started to make enough money that they felt like they needed to figure out what to do with it, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant or to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain.
I remember my dad talking about that.
Command them, it says, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides them with everything for their enjoyment. So they can have a theater room and enjoy it. God's provided it. Then it says this, command them to be rich in good deeds, generous, and willing to share. I think they're some of the most generous, sharing people I've ever known. That's something, that's a legacy to live up to, I'll tell you. We ought to have me do that on film.
Yeah.
We probably ought to do that.
I think I'm gonna have you like narrate this story,
I would agree.
like just to give like the intro to backgrounds.
Okay, whatever.
Be like a movie
He's like,
trailer.
I'm not so sure about that.
Got enough?
I think so. Unless you guys have anything else you wanna throw in, or any
Maddie,
stories
anything?
or-
Want to talk about the new house? About your secret room? Oh crap.
That'd be great. Say a little something about the new house and how exciting it is.
Well, in our new house, I feel like they wanted to downsize. So they just kind of smushed our house onto one level, pretty much.
Because they still want to be hospitable.
Yeah, they were even talking about, I remember walking into the room where they were like, had the plans out for our house. And I remember them talking about like how we need a pull-out couch for extra room in case anyone wants to stay in like the playroom. And then we have the guest room above our garage, or at our new house. They're just trying to come up with as many beds as they, that way they can hold more people there.
That's great.
Andrew, any questions?
No.
Anything you want to ask me on camera?
Let's get Andrew down. Let's get Andrew down here. What was it like staying in our house?
Andrew, what was it like staying in our house?
I like to stay in the theater more.
That's very true. I didn't even think about the theater. Okay, we had a lot of people stay in the guest room. We had even more people stay in the theater, let's be honest.
I can't tell you how many times I walk in there to watch a show. It's just trash with blankets and
And there's
shoes.
somebody asleep in the front
Yeah,
couch.
I remember you were always asleep down there.
So what was the craziest thing you guys ever like walked into? in your house,
Oh
just with like.
man.
Oh.
Oh man.
Okay. I forget who it was, but there is this white elephant ear where there was this like red like towel dress thing, and like it had like straps, and then one of them put it on over their clothes, and I walked in the door and they were like doing poses. I don't know what it was for. That was probably the funniest thing.
Who was that? Who was doing that?
I don't remember. It was one of the
Was it
college people.
Yeah. I'd say the craziest experience, just like that just happened to us was the Catrons. Definitely, I think those were the people that kind of surprised me the most too. But just walking in every day, and sometimes you never know what was gonna happen. You know, I'd come home from school and we'd hear yelling or something, and they'd be arguing over something. They brought all their animals in from their house, so that was interesting. Well, we had 2 dogs at the time.
I have no idea. There were so many animals at that point.
Yeah, they
You
brought
couldn't
all
even
their
keep track
cats.
of them.
that was an interesting time. Oh boy.
I feel like we developed some like traditions too from like people staying. Like, for example, like Adrian would always put the star on our Christmas tree every single year.
Didn't need a ladder.
Yeah. Well, what he would do is he would actually lift Maddie up
But then he would
so that she
kind of
could, yeah.
place it on.
Yeah. So.
Oh, my mom would make everyone who stayed there watch Gone with the Wind with her in the
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah.
That was their only.
It was her requirement.
Yeah.
She was like, you could stay here as long as you want, but you have to watch Gone with the Wind with me at least once.
Yeah.
What would you say your dad required of anybody? Did he ever require anything?
Ooh, my dad would probably require them to play at least one board game with me.
Yeah.
What was his go-to board game?
Oh boy.
Probably Settlers towards the end.
Yeah, one of his favorites is
Early on, it was Nuclear Risk, and then it kind of merged into Settlers.
Me and Maddie are good werewolf leaders. They like
Yeah.
Oh boy.
you have enough to work with.
I think so. I mean, once we piece in all the,
Yeah.
because we're gonna interview pretty much everyone that you're talking about,
Oh really?
getting their side of it too. So it'll be interesting to
Jeez.
piece it all.
Tell me what the count is.
And I can give you some more names after that.
No, I
so.
think Cam lived. Didn't Cam live there once too?
I was thinking about that.
I think he did.
There was one aunt or uncle that didn't stay with us. I was trying to. I thought it was Aaron.
I don't think Aaron did.
Yeah, I
Brad
think
did.
Brad did, but I don't
did.
think Aaron did.
Aaron didn't stay.
Yeah, there was too many people. I can't remember.
I just got
Did your
so
grandmother ever
used.
stay with you guys?
I don't think so.
Maybe
mean,
for a
they
short
maybe at the
time.
lake
Yeah,
house?
maybe for like overnight they would stay in the guest room. That
Yeah.
would. But only because they probably wanted
How many
to.
pets did the Catrons actually have?
A lot.
A lot.
That was.
I don't
More than two?
think they knew how many pets they had.
They had. I know they had. Well, one of their dogs died right in the
Yeah.
fire.
While they were
But
there.
they brought one. They brought a dog. I know there was a few cats. There was like a parrot or something like that. There was some kind of bird.
I don't know.
I don't
There
know.
were
There
so
was something
many.
weird.
Didn't they have like guinea pigs or?
Yeah, they had guinea
something?
pigs. Yeah.
Cause I remember I would always be in my little stroller thing, like watching some of my shows, and I would hear them.
Yeah.
There was just so much noise.
And you just found out not long ago that your guinea pig.
Yeah.
Died a tragic death.
Yeah.
My guinea pig was murdered.
How many years has it been?
That was Thanksgiving of
Yeah.
2011,
Okay.
2012.
Yeah, all the kids come downstairs. My mom just was screaming bloody murder, and she tells all the kids, she's like, "It's okay. We just we couldn't find Mason."
And then Mason was up in the loft.
Yeah. And yeah, she saw the Cameron's dog had
Lucy.
just killed Maddie's hamster, and
Guinea pig.
Guinea pig, sorry.
You should remember this.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm good.
all right.
I was gonna let it open roll.
I always like my part because these guys have to break all this down.
Yeah.